Going live. It says we're going live. Are we actually going live? All right. Okay. It says we aren't. We're good. We're live. All right. Cool. And we're live. And hello and welcome to Roundtable with the Stream Team. And this is where we talk to amazing content creators about their journeys of where they are and what they've done and you know how they're doing today. As you can tell, last week I was super sick. Didn't sound like it at all. This week I'm feeling better, but now my voice is gone. So I would like to welcome tonight to our roundtable Jermanfu. He is an amazing content creator that I have known for years. Jer, how are you doing? Jermanfu,
I'm
what's going on?
I'm doing well, Snally dude. Thank you so much for having me on. This is great to be here.
Great. I'm happy that you were able to, chisel out some time in your streaming schedule. I know you and I, we have very similar streaming schedules that we are during the week, so it's kind of hard to be able to do that. But I greatly appreciate you, doing that for us. And
Absolutely.
thank you. And we have El Boogie, who is here with us this evening. How are you?
Hello, how's everybody doing?
We're doing fantastic. And
Doing
you know
great.
what? The avatar, I'm loving it. I'm loving that avatar. And the first thing I said when you popped on, I was like, I love it. That's great.
Yeah, I got to take that in Redmond, so
Oh, nice, nice. You going to the campus, huh? Going to the
right.
Microsoft campus. Beautiful. MJ is the boss is out sick today. He must have done too much partying this weekend.
Yeah.
College life for you. It gets you real quick. And old school, he said he's going to be coming in, and he's going to be coming in while we're starting. He had a last minute engagement, aka someone had a birthday party and he did not know, so he's on his way. So Jermanfu, why don't you tell us where you started becoming content creator and why you decided, hey, I want to do this and create this amazing community. And I have so many questions, and
Sure.
I'm telling you, this is going to be interesting because I've known you for so long, and I could finally
Right.
put you and I face to face. So we're gonna be talking for a while. So go ahead,
No problem.
tell us about it.
Sure. So I've been I actually kind of discovered Twitch. I came to Twitch late to the party, as it were. Um, a buddy of mine at work years ago, probably if we're going to put some dates here, maybe 2014, said, "Hey, look, there's this cool platform. It's kind of like YouTube, but it's live, and you can interact with the content creators and so forth." I'm like, "Wow, this sounds pretty cool." Because I was a big YouTuber back then, watch Let's Plays and things like that. So I started watching Twitch, and really just fell in love with the platform. And I was like, you know what? One day I want to do this. I should just do it. And so I started doing some research. And February of 2015, I decided, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I took a couple of weeks off from work. Um, First week we went to Disney World, had a good time with that. And then the second week, I'm like, okay, I'm going to take this week off, and I'm just going to. And of course, I had to get permission from the boss, my wife,
Yes,
and
Boss
she,
Fu.
by the way, has been great. Boss Fu, she has been great with all this, very supportive.
That's
Um,
hilarious.
yeah, so she was good with it, and I started in February of 2015, and I really had no idea what I wanted to do or how I wanted to do it. I love people, I love interacting with people, I love video games, and I'm like, if we can just combine these two, let's just do it, So I started streaming, and when I started off, I really didn't have any kind of direction or anything like that. I started off streaming pretty much every day for the first 6 to 8 months, even if it was just a couple hours here and there. And at the time, I was working shift work. I'm a retired police officer, for just to let everybody know, and so I was working a lot of shift work back then, and that made it very difficult. And but we got around that, and so I got to the point where I'm like, you know what? I love playing video games. We tried actually focusing in on individual games for a while. I played a lot of Final Fantasy 14 for months on end. I actually started with EverQuest, which was my old school MMO that I started with way back in the day, and had some good success with that. Had some good success with Final Fantasy. But I'm the type of person, if I play one game over and over again, I get burnout. Elle, you kind of alluded to that earlier when we were talking for the podcast.
Right.
And I just can't do that. Which gives me so much respect for the streamers that can do that. God bless them, man, because that is an incredible amount of discipline and drive and self-motivation to be able to stream just one game all the time. So anyway, I decided, you know what? I'm just going to be a variety streamer, you know? And as you guys may know, probably, I know it's tough as a variety streamer. It's not only do I know you know that.
Oh yeah.
It's hard to build a community. But first and foremost, I think you have to really enjoy what you do. Because if you don't enjoy what you're doing, nothing else matters. You know, it does. None of the other stuff matters. So I've been doing that ever since, and we've built a pretty good community. I'm very happy with the community we have, and we're still going. So that's pretty much where I'm at and where I came from.
So, when you started, it was what you said. It was 14 approximately.
Well, 14 was when I discovered Twitch. I actually started streaming in February of 2015.
2015.
Yes.
So I kind of met you probably closer to the start of your Twitch career, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And when you started streaming, there didn't seem like there was very many viewers, but all of a sudden there was this like, huge ramp up in your community. So what do you think like kind of can attest to that? Because you have a great community. It's fantastic. Your Discord is like popping all day long. I had to use MJ's word. He's not here. Had to say it once. Go ahead. So anyway.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that, and I got to tell you, I am to what you said. I love our community. It's very, very active. Some great people for sure. But to your question, you know what's interesting, because I don't know if I can pinpoint one exact thing. You know, part of it. I think part of it is we started streaming with some consistency, and that helped, of course. But I don't even think that's the biggest contributing factor. I was very fortunate to get a handful of really good community members in when we first started streaming, and they started showing up pretty regularly. And I think part of that is right place, right time. Yeah. But I think also part of that is the community fed on itself. You know, it's hard to say. You know, maybe part of it is the games I picked. Again, playing Final Fantasy a good bit at the beginning. Another game that I haven't even mentioned. I played a lot of Marvel Heroes, which was a. And you're familiar with Marvel Heroes, yeah. And for maybe any of your listeners who aren't, it's kind of like a Diablo style ARPG with the Marvel universe. It's shut down now, sadly, but that had a really good community, and there was a point there where I was streaming that for months on end because it was just so. I'm a big comic fan, and so that kind of just we found a groove there, and a lot of people just kind of like-minded people started coming into the community, and then sometime later we built the Discord, and I'm the type of person, I am probably to my detriment at times. I am always on social media, you know, and so I'm always active in my Discord, and I think that helped. And we had people coming along there, and so it just kind of fed on itself, you know, and it's. I don't know if that's a good answer, but it just kind of it's hard to put my finger on one specific thing, you know?
Yeah. So when you how should I word this? So when you started, you said you're kind of like you love social media. You're kind of like addicted to it, so to speak. So what platforms are you ending up being on all the time?
Mostly Twitter and Discord now. I used to be on Facebook a while back, and I got so tired of the toxicity. You know, it's just I believe in positive thinking, and just. And what's interesting is Twitter's kind of gotten to that point too, but I digress. And so I got to the point where I was like, you know what? I just had enough of Facebook. So I don't really get on Facebook anymore. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of good on Facebook too,
Yeah.
but I kind of got away from that. So mostly Twitter now and Discord. But I use Twitter mostly to keep up with the community, but to also keep up with like gaming news and things like that, because it's amazing how that is the best way really to get your news instantly, and for real news you got to kind of be careful with that, but for gaming news it's really good.
Yeah, like
It's
5 years ago for me is when I like really found out that like Twitter was where it was at to get late, like as soon as possible,
Yeah.
gaming news.
absolutely.
Do you?
and
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I was just going to say, and to Elle's point, that's kind of like where I really started getting deep diving into social media and keeping up with it throughout the day, all week long and that kind of thing,
Do you find that Twitter is better for engaging, or the buzzword for the year, engagement, to your community instead of other types of instead of using Discord or Instagram? Because I've kind of noticed Instagram, I find more people coming in and out of being able to get more followers and more people watching and viewing my channel. Bless you. And then instead of Twitter or or Discord, and I kind of feel like do you find that Twitter's better for you or Discord for the engagement?
Yeah, and that's a good question, because different social media platforms, different people use them differently, right?
Mhm.
So Twitter, while I do use it for a little bit of dissemination of information, I mostly use it for information gathering and the occasional Twitter post, going live, or
Yeah.
when you find some really good information, I'll comment on it and elaborate on it, things like that. But I use it mostly for information gathering, whereas Discord, I use that mainly for my engaging
Mm-hmm.
and my most of my information dissemination and keeping the community up to date on what's going on and things like that,
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
L, were you gonna? Oh, I thought L. Were you gonna say something?
God damn it, this is the second damn time I've done that. Like,
What?
oh my God, I'm like pressing the button and I guess I press it twice, so then it mutes me right after I start talking.
Oh,
I'm
no.
sorry.
Anyways, I think that like Instagram, because it's such limited interaction, that it's easier for people. So more people are inclined to do Instagram than Twitter, because you have to be, most people tend to be more talkative, right? But on Instagram, you can literally just like someone's stuff and that counts. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. No, that's a great point. And I actually have my community manager, Fox Magic, you know him.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I have he's been bugging me to get on Instagram, so I've actually been thinking about doing that. So I should probably do that. But Elle, you make a good point, because Instagram is more that instant gratification, right?
Right.
That you can just get in, get out. Whereas Twitter, it's more, even though it's only like 280 characters, whatever it is, it's still there's diving in and reading
Right.
links and things like that. Yeah, for sure.
So I've been using this application called Hootsuite, and I tell people this all the time. It works out really, really well. I literally, on Monday, I do all my posts for the week, and I'll do pictures, and I'll do events and things like that,
I need to use that.
and it just pops out everything. The only thing is that it doesn't auto post to Instagram. So what I end up doing is I end up having it on my phone. I get my notification on my phone. I'm just like, open Instagram, do boom, bang, bang, boom, and I'm done. Because I do it. I use it for ILP. I use it for Roundtable. I use it for my own Twitter and my own marketing stuff. It's so much easier than having to do it on a consistent basis or forget it. So at least like you have that visibility, whereas most
Dude,
people
how
don't
much
see.
does this cost?
$0.
That's not what it's saying.
Goose egg. Trust me, goose egg.
What's it
Go
called
to
again?
Goose Egg.
Hootsuite.
Hootsuite.
Yep, it's really, really good.
Interesting.
So,
I'll have to check that out. Yeah.
Jer-
You're gonna have to show me
what
this later.
I'll show you it later. Jared, while you're looking up Hootsuite,
Mhm.
so you're a huge Marvel fan, a huge comic
Mhm.
book fan in general. Now, two questions. One,
Mhm.
how did you decide your intro, that comic book intro?
Mhm.
So how did you decide to do that?
Okay. Yeah.
And how did you know that like Marvel Heroes was gonna kind of, I felt like that was your niche. Like
Mhm.
that really really big game that I
Sure.
that's remember how I was asking you before what game I thought you kind of like blew up on? I felt
Yeah.
like that was like your game. Like
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And to your first question, the video intro was actually created by two of my mods, by Fox Magic and Unstable Jester,
mhm.
and we were looking for something, an intro video that would be number one unique, and number two kind of encapsulate what our community was about. And so they came up with that. I gotta give them the credit for that, because they were the ones that came up with it,
Mhm.
and I just fell in love with it. Because it's, again, like, as you said, I'm a huge comic Marvel fan, but it also has still shots of some of the different games I played over the years, and it shows that, hey, this guy's a variety streamer. So when you come into the stream, you see, oh, cool, comics, Marvel action, but he also likes a variety of stuff too. So it kind of gives you a snapshot of what our community is about, um so um that right there, I got, like I said, I got to give them credit for that. Now, as to your
Mhm.
second question for Marvel Heroes, yeah, it's interesting because that, I don't know what it was, and some streamers will tell you different games were that was the one,
Yeah.
and I guess that was the one for me, and it's kind of sad that it's gone now, which I'm really looking forward to Marvel's Avengers next year.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to keep an eye on that.
Oh, yes.
um so but yeah, when I started playing Marvel Heroes, um a lot of people, I noticed I was getting a lot of unique views, a lot of unique names coming in, and it was it was enjoyable bantering with them back and forth, not only about the game, but just about Marvel Heroes, Marvel comics, and lore, um,
Mhm.
overall. And I guess because I was so passionate about that, you know, maybe that's part of the reason why it felt like it blew up as much as it did. I got to tell you, man, and shoot, you guys know this. You guys are streamers, so you know.
Yeah.
But being passionate about what you're streaming is so important. You have to love what you're doing. You have to enjoy it, because if you don't, it's not. That's going to translate to your community.
Yeah.
They're going to know that. They're going to see that. So yeah, I would say that was the big thing. Just my enjoyment, my passion for it, and it was a game that had a really good community.
Mhm.
It was a really strong community overall, and I think that helped. So I would say that those are the big elements.
When oh my god, I had a thought and I lost it.
Oh, I'm sorry, I
No, no,
rambled too
no, no,
long.
no, 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 no. It's I'm gonna blame the Robitussin. Um, yeah. So when you started to like the whole streaming process, you said you
hmm
you took time off and you kind of like went out and bought all the equipment. Did you
hmm
like literally like go soup to nuts like straight from the top? Got a great
Right.
microphone, a great headset. Can you kind of like inform us more of that?
Sure. No, and I didn't go crazy all out at first, because that was one of the things that when I did my research ahead of time, a lot of the things I was seeing was, don't go crazy, don't go out and buy hundreds of dollars worth of equipment. Um, I did get a new computer, but I was due for a new computer anyway. Um, and so I had a new computer. It just coincided with the time that I would be getting it anyway. And I got a capture card. I did get that, and I got
Internal, external.
I started off with the external Elgato
Yeah.
HD60 is the one I got originally. I use an Avermedia internal one now, but so and then I had a. I just got like I did get a mic, but it wasn't a real expensive one. It was like a $30 or $40 mic, nothing really fancy. And I had a headset, and that was pretty much it. And I went with that. And then over the years, I kind of upgraded piecemeal here and there. I got my Audio Technica mic that I'm using now. Some point along the line, I got a soundboard.
Yeah.
Things like that, So I kind of piecemealed it together at first, and then over time added on.
You said which internal card did you have now?
It's the Avermedia internal H.
I've heard a few people that like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why you went that route, or?
Well, I when I was doing my research, the Avermedia had, just from the research that I got, like Elle said, a lot of people seem to like it.
Yeah.
And when I was looking to upgrade my capture card, obviously internal was better because of the response rate and so forth. So I went with that, and I've enjoyed it. It does a good job. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have all of the Funko Pops in the background.
Yes.
I have to ask, which comic books are those that you have? Which Spider-Man comics? Because I've never noticed you actually had actual comics back there. I only saw the Funko Pops. So
Yeah.
which copies of Spider-Man are those?
Okay, so what's interesting is these were all from, most of them I was subscribed to the Marvel Collector Corps for a while, and so I was getting them as a part of that. One of my Spider-Man pops is from the original Spider-Man Homecoming. It's the Spider-Man Homecoming outfit. I've got a Miles Morales Spider-Man pop up there, which is really cool. I've got a Morbius pop, which is one of Spider-Man's nemesis, and the other ones were just, there's one, I've got one with him in his traditional blue and red, but nothing from a specific comic.
Bless you.
Bless you. But yeah. So those are the names. I got a couple of Deadpools. I know Elle's a fan of Deadpool. I've got a couple of Spider-Man comics back there too. Some of my pride and joys. I've got the Spider-Man comic that has the first appearance of his black costume, which is really cool. And I've got another one, Amazing Spider-Man 122, which is the issue in which right after Green Goblin killed Gwen Stacy. And I'm sorry, I'm getting off on a tangent here, but that was a massive story point back in the days, because that in the 70s, killing off main characters was not a big deal. Like, it didn't happen. That didn't happen. And so that was like a revolutionary point in Marvel and in Spider-Man specifically. So that one cost me a pretty penny to pick up, but so that's a little bit of my Spider-Man memorabilia back there.
my friend, he's a huge comic book fan, and we went on an adventure in New York City Comic Con one year to find him his first edition seeing of the Punisher, because he's a huge Punisher fan, and I can't tell you how many different vendors we went to, and we eventually found him. But man, wow. it was like a full day of hunting through comics for him, and he finally found one that was perfect condition that he bought, and one that wasn't in good condition, so he could read it. So it was an adventure and a really amazing thing. I remembered what I was going to say before.
Okay,
we have someone named King David on the Iron Lords podcast who is huge into statues and figurines. He has this thing called King of the Statues. You would love it because he puts on Marvel, DC, all different figurines of every single genre. And I'm talking like these are beautiful, like handcrafted statues that you'll really appreciate. So when you get time, you got to go take a look at them.
Absolutely. That sounds amazing. Yeah.
They're really, really cool. So,
yeah.
I'll
have to check that out for sure.
How do you feel? How does your family feel that you are like kind of strict on this schedule, because you used to have like an everyday schedule from what I remember when you were pushing partner, and I know you still are technically pushing partner. We're always not pushing, you know what I mean.
Right.
So, but like, what? How did your family feel? Was there any issues with that, or were they like very like were supportive, or how did that go for you?
Yeah. So my daughter is starting to practice. Let me shut my door real quick so you guys don't hear that.
No problem.
Sorry about that.
It's fine.
Yeah. My daughter's a French horn player, and so she's practicing, which is good. But I don't want that to come through on your podcast. So, no, and it's that was good timing because, actually, my family always comes first.
Mm-hmm.
Always, my wife and my daughter always come first, and I would not be able to do this without support of my family because it's just being a family man. It just would not work, So first and foremost, I had to get that go ahead and okay from the wife, and she was fine with it. And we talked about it ahead of time, and we said, look, no matter what happens, if there's something important in the family's life or in my daughter's life growing up, I'm going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to be there. And so that's actually come up a few times here because my daughter is in the marching band at her high school.
Friday.
And so Friday nights, I have to miss some Friday night streams. And so, it's never a question. It's always the family first. Other than that, it's the wife knows that if it's a Monday through Friday and I'm supposed to stream, I'm going to be here. You have to, in my opinion, if I want to make a living and a career out of this one day, I've got to live the career before I achieve the career.
Yeah.
I've got to treat it like it's something important. I treat it like it's a job. And I don't mean that in the bad sense, the bad connotation of the word. I mean it as in all the responsibility that goes along with that. If I'm supposed to be at work at a certain time on a certain day, I'm going to be there, And so that my wife and I are on the same wavelength on that. And that's one of the reasons why I stream Monday through Friday, because I take the weekends off and I just immerse myself in the family and what we have going on here. And that's all for them. And then, like I said, occasionally during the week, if something comes up, it's a family thing. Daughter has a concert or an event, then I go and do that. But I always try to make that up to the community in some way, So
the subathon.
Yes, the subathon. It's definitely a razor's balance that you have got to find.
Mm-hmm.
For me anyway, for me personally. Yeah.
Do you find that, Elle? Do you see that also?
I'm sorry, I got sidetracked.
It's okay.
It's okay.
I can come back because you were talking about how you make sure that it's family first, which for me, I feel like I have to push family to understand that I'm trying to do this. So for them, because my mother, my sister, my father, he's supportive, but my mother and my sister, they are so far removed from the video game industry and stuff, polar opposites. They're more into fashion and what do you want to say, landscaping, things like that. My mom is a big gardener. She has this crazy Martha Stewart vineyard type garden, but
that's awesome.
So we totally different things. So for them, they're just come do this with us. They don't really understand that I'm really trying to make a little community here.
Yeah, that's fascinating, Elle. Yeah, and what's interesting, and of course, I guess I'm a little older. Of course, I'm the old man. So my parents are
in his early 40s.
Yeah. My parents are in their 70s, and so it's interesting because I've had a family for a while now, and I'm kind of on my own, doing my own thing. And my parents are very supportive of this. It's ironic, actually, because there are times when we've had family get-togethers with them, and I'm like, look, I would love to be there, but I can't be there because I work. I work tonight. And they understand, they understand. Now, if it's a weekend thing, I'm there, so but I've had other distant, I don't know, secondary relatives, I guess you could say, cousins, aunts, things like that, who who I could tell are kind of like, yeah, I don't know. Interesting. Interesting note. I
Yeah.
have a cousin who, little off tangent here, but I have a cousin who is a, video game developer. He's actually got a game on the Nintendo, um, the Nintendo Wii U store, and he also is an artist. So it's
Me
he
too.
definitely
That's
understands.
crazy.
Yeah, cool.
He understands. Like I can't even like say who he works for.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you, El. I have some family members who get it. They understand. They're into it, and then others, while they may not necessarily say anything, you can tell they just don't get it. You know.
Right.
Uh,
What about you, Pete?
I'm kind of lucky. Like in the beginning, my parents kind of they didn't understand the whole concept of what was happening. And then one day I actually took my dad and I was like, "This is what I do," and I showed him, and he goes, "I don't get it. As long as you're enjoying it, you're fine." And I'm lucky that my wife she's amazing. She's a rock, and she supports my crazy um, streaming and all the podcast stuff and all the stuff that I do. She's amazing. I couldn't do half the stuff without her. More than half the stuff without her. And I mean, I'm kind of lucky. I did notice one thing though. I stopped posting when I went live on Facebook because I actually noticed that a lot of my family members and friends started unfriending me, and I was like, "That's a very interesting point that they didn't care about me before, but all of a sudden they started unfriending me just because I'm posting that I'm going live and I'm doing this." And I said, "Hey, I would like some help. I want you to come and lurk in my channel." And then they started unfriending me, and I was just like, "Well, if that's how you feel." And then I actually did a Facebook purge, and I just took out 90% of everybody on my Facebook page, and it was just now my core family and friends that I know that are going to always have my back no matter what. Because it was very surprising to see that, like, not aunts, I'm sorry, like cousins and, you know, uncles and things like that. Not uncles, but like, uncles removed and so to speak. But it was like, no, I'm like, I'm not dealing with this. I have enough stress in my life. I don't have to deal with it.
Right.
Yeah. But all in all,
That's crazy.
it's pretty interesting.
That's
It's
fascinating.
like weird. Yeah. It's like different people act so different. Like you when outside of our little bubble, like when you start telling people that this is what you do, it's like you have people like, "Oh, that's cool," and then you have the people that are like, "Oh, okay,"
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
What I started doing is I actually start now when I leave the house, I'm almost like 99% of the time always in a Twitch hoodie and some Iron Lords podcast shirt or a Snowload.tv shirt or a Twitch shirt. And I leave the house. I always have my business cards on me because I never know who I'm going to walk into. And I've ended up like handing out cards. And now I have like actual people that I know that actually come and watch the channel. Or
Oh,
like
wow.
people from work, because like my wife she's an amazing artist, so she does inkbox tattoos on my arms pretty often. Not right now, but like people will see like emblems for video games. They'll see like the Division symbol on my arm, or they'll see something and they'll be like, "Oh, what is that? Do you play video games? Is that Assassin's Creed?" I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, "What?" And then I go into the whole entire explanation of it, where I then end up starting to give out business cards to them. So like I almost always have them on me.
That's awesome, man.
So
Stop.
yeah, it's pretty interesting.
You know what else is interesting is, and I thought about this when you were talking about your Facebook experiences with your distant relatives
Yeah.
and friends and things like that. It's fascinating how a lot of times in this circle of Twitch, YouTube, those kind of communities, we have people who have never met us in real life,
Yeah.
who are so good about coming in and supporting us on a nightly basis. And yet people that we've known our whole lives, a lot of those people don't take the time of day to do that. Isn't that fascinating?
Oh my God, that's so true.
You want an amazing? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to finish by saying it's I've heard the saying before. I think it goes something like, and don't take this the wrong way, I'm not saying I'm a prophet, we're prophets or anything, but you get the idea that a prophet is never appreciated in his own land.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you ever heard that saying. It's
I
true
haven't,
that
but it makes sense.
if
Yeah.
you build up something in the neighborhood and around the people that you grew up around, they just see you as little Joe from down the road or little Daisy from down the road. And then other people that you build a community with, they view you in a different light. Not better or worse, but they view you differently, and that's how they know you.
Mhm.
You know? So it's fascinating how that works.
So I have a great story.
Mm-hmm.
So one of my closest and best friends, and I will say that he is one of my best friends. I've met him twice in my whole life. I met him playing World of Warcraft. Like he in '04 we met, and we became like instantly like really good friends. Exchanged numbers, texting back and forth. He ends up calling me up one day and goes, "Yo, I need you to do something for me." I'm like, "What's up, Jacob? What's going on?" And he goes, "I need you to be my best man at my wedding." And I'm like, "I've never met you in my entire life." I'm like, I will make a deal with you. I will come to the wedding. I will be a groomsman. I will be there for you no matter what. But I cannot justify being a best man because, you know, just in case, God forbid, something happens, because like he lives in Cleveland, I live in New York. I was like, something happens, I don't want that responsibility to come down. And I'm like, who knows what happens in 20 years, because it's the gaming life. You know,
Yeah.
you'll be fine now, but in like 2 to 3 years it's all over. And I mean, I've known him, like I said, since '04, and we still talk daily to this day. So, and we've only seen each other twice, and
That's
he's a
amazing.
great guy, and he's one of those people that come into my stream all the time and support me. And it's like, hey, what's going on? What's going on? Let's go do something. Let's go. And he's great, and that's just one of those amazing things that, you know, that's really cool.
It absolutely. I mean, we are building relationships with people that will last a lifetime.
Hmm.
You know, and I think I got to tell you, man, I think that is one of the toughest things about being a streamer, in my opinion, is this right here: is you build these relationships, and I view each person in my community. I'm sure, like you guys do too. They're family.
Hmm.
These people are family to me. We build these relationships, and but unlike other family, if they can't show up for a couple of weeks, couple months, whatever, that's just it is what it is. They
Yeah.
have lives going on, and you can't. And then sometimes you have these family members that will just stop showing up.
Hmm.
And you don't hear anything from them, and that's fine. That's fine because stuff happens. They have lives, whatever. But it it goes against everything that you feel should be for family, and it's tough as a streamer because you get so close to people, and it hurts. And I don't mean that like bad on them, because I get it, man. Not everybody has time for Twitch. I mean,
Yeah.
people get families, people get new jobs, people get family with sickness or they have illnesses, and look, I get it. But it's like that's what makes it so tough, because you have to accept that as being part of a streamer, that you're going to have family members sometimes that drop off and you may never see them again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the toughest part about being a streamer, you know, in my opinion.
Yeah. So let's change the subject in a little
Yeah,
happier note.
sorry.
No, it's fine. Um, no, it's I love these types of conversations, and I can talk like this all day about that stuff. But let's, like I said, let's change this to: are you planning on going to TwitchCon this year? Or any other conventions?
Yeah, probably not. I do need to make it to TwitchCon one of
Mhm.
these years. It's just it's so tough with my new with the job I'm working at now, and just with everything else. It's hard to get time away to go to some of these conventions. Uh I would like to do that. I would really like to go to TwitchCon at some point. You know, that's my goal is
Yeah.
to make it to TwitchCon. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you never even had a thought in your mind about like going to like an E3 or PAX or any of those? Or was that like, was that
Well,
one of those things like, nah, but it's not for me?
oh no, if I had my choice, man, if I had the means, I would go to all of them.
Mhm.
Oh man, that'd be so much fun. I It's one of those things where I need to kind of choose, you know, because I know I'm not going to be able to have the means to do all of them
Mhm.
or even do a few of them. So the TwitchCon is the one I would like to go to at least at first, and then I maybe decide on some of the other ones later. Um, so my hope is I would like to try to make TwitchCon next year, but I don't want to
2020.
make. Yeah, I just don't want to make a commitment on that because I don't know how things are going to work out. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard because I know like for me, I do one convention a year, and 99.9% of the time it's PAX East because I just take the train from New York to Boston. It's perfect for me. I don't have to really think about it, and
Mm-hmm.
it's my kind of way to get away. And it's kind of like Elle. She really don't get me wrong. Like you enjoy going to E3. Like
Right.
that's like your thing. Like I feel like
Right.
everyone has their thing. Like I
But see, it
know.
used to be down the street for me. It's not down the street anymore. So
I
Oh
know.
wow.
Yeah, she decided to move from California to Virginia.
right,
Oh
A little bit
man.
of a difference.
Just a little bit. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Well, I was here before when I was in the military. Like my daughter's actually born here, but
Oh
yeah.
cool.
So now Boss Fu and Daughter Fu.
Uh
Now, do they end up gaming at all, or is that just not their
huh.
thing?
So Boss Fu, not really. I will start talking geek stuff with her in video games, and she just starts rolling her eyes. And so I do it on purpose just to kind of get a funny look from her, you know. So she's not really a gamer. She has in the past actually played Diablo 3 with me, and she kind of likes that game a little bit. She can deal with it. Daughter Fu games, but it's like casual stuff. You know, like she'll play these little
Sims.
games on her phone. Yeah, things like that. And then so I remember one day she came home and she's like, "Daddy, can we download Fortnite?" I'm like, "What are you doing about
Oh,
Fortnite?"
oh,
And apparently, I guess because her all her
everybody.
friends at school play. I'm like, "All right, I mean, I'll download it on the PlayStation for you, but I mean, you're probably not gonna like it. I don't know if you." And
Uh,
so being a 13, 14-year-old girl, she probably just wants to see what her friends are doing. And then
yeah.
we downloaded it and she played like one time and that was it, you know. So but yeah, so kind of casual, you know.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
do you have like family like board game nights or anything like that? Or
We yeah, we do actually. We haven't done them recently just because the schedule's been kind of crazy. Daughter Foo's had a lot of like marching band competitions the last few months, but we used to get together like every weekend, and we want to kind of get back to doing this. And we'll do like a game day, and we'd each get to pick a game. And we played some DC deck building game, Legendary, which is the Marvel version of deck building. Um, we played a deck building game called Clank. Things like that. Boss Fu and I have played some Settlers before, Settlers of Catan,
Mhm.
things like that. And every once in a while we'll get on the PlayStation and play like Overcooked,
Oh, it's
which
so
is a
good.
fun little.
Oh,
That's a
I play that with
fun.
my daughter. It's like super frustrating testing
Yes.
as a parent.
So
Yeah.
I played that with my wife,
Uh
and
huh.
you know what? I've never heard her curse like a sailor more than that when we ever played Overcooked.
I'm telling
That's
you.
awesome.
So good. It's such a fantastic game. And like I'll be sitting here and she'll be sitting here and we'll play on the computer and like I have to like defend myself because like she'll arms will go up and I'll be like, I'm gonna get hit because something's gonna happen. But yeah, she's but it like she's really good when we're really organized. So it works out really well with two players. But
Yeah.
oh man, I love that game for multifamily stuff.
Oh my gosh. So many times we'll find ourselves just rolling on the floor laughing, literally. Our stomach hurting so bad. And so we're getting mad at each other because we're laughing so hard that we can't do, because you got to work. You guys know you have to
Oh,
have teamwork in that game. And so one person's slacking on their job because they're laughing so hard, and then the rest of us are yes. It's just
It falls apart real quick.
yeah.
yes. Oh my gosh, yes, so fast.
What'll end up happening is like you know that there's a couple of those maps. They have like ice in the middle, and you have to like move across one ice thing to the other.
Oh, and then it slides. It
Yeah, so
moves.
slide. So there's a couple of times where I'll like purposely like ram into her into the water, just to aggravate her. But like she's such a perfectionist. Like we have to keep going at the same level until we 3-star it. So it's like over and
Oh
over
my
and over.
goodness.
I'm talking like repetitive,
Yeah.
repetitive. And we did it for the first one and the second one. Oh, it so much fun, but oh man, so painful.
It can be, yes. Yeah,
um,
when you're trying to 3-star it, it can be brutal.
oh
Yeah.
Some of
yeah, yeah,
those.
yes. So for deck building games, there's a couple of really fun ones. 5 Minute Dungeon. Me and my wife ended up picking it up. Fantastic. Quick thinking game. We weren't able to do it with 2 people. We were only able to complete it with 4 people. That's really, really a good game. If you ever do the Harry Potter,
Yeah.
it's so good, but it's so hard with 2 people. Like
Oh man.
we started getting progress on it because we invited some friends over and we do 4-person, and we have the
Yeah.
expansion pack, so we have Luna now also, so we have a 5th person as an option. But it's so many, it's so good. That's a really good, really really good board game.
Yeah, I would think that there are quite a few board games or deck building games, board games that are really challenging with just 2 people. You
Yeah.
know, Legendary, which is the Marvel deck building game, actually works really well with 2 people.
Really.
It does. Yeah, you can actually play that one even solo. It's obviously more fun with two, 3, 4 people, whatever. But it works really well with 2 people, which is nice.
I've heard Galaxy Trucker is another one.
Never heard of
I
that
don't
one.
have it, but Galaxy Trucker is supposed to be really good.
I'm gonna have to mark some of these down and look them up later.
Trust me, I have a little bit of a a little filing cabinet in here of board games and things.
Nice.
We'll go over it, and when I go up to PAX, like they discount everything. It's so nice that I'll go up there and I'll come home with like 5 or 6 board games. And I'll like give one to my parents, one to my brother and sister-in-law, one to my niece, and the rest are me and my wife's. And we don't have any room anymore. So I got to get a box or something and start putting some stuff in storage or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Elle, do you have any questions?
So do you ever do any shows? I don't know if we asked you, but do you ever do any shows with your daughter?
Shows like
Streaming shows, I assume you mean?
Yeah.
oh, streaming.
Right.
Oh yeah. She's actually, it's interesting because I actually got her on one day on Twitch Sings because she's an incredible, she's got an incredible voice.
Awesome.
My whole family and Bossfu's pretty musical too, voice wise, and my whole family has a musical background, and so Daughter Fu got that from our family, and so I got her on to do. I'm average singing, but I was a trumpet player. I was in the LSU marching band, and I grew up playing trumpet most of my life. So that's where my musical talent lays.
Me too. That's crazy.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
So I played trumpet in middle school, and then I primarily played cello when I went to high school, and I was actually in the choir in the Navy.
Oh wow! Now that's cool. So yeah. So Daughter Fu came on and did. She did a. I can't remember the song from Frozen, the main song.
Let It Go.
Yeah, Let It Go. Thank you. I had a mental block. I knew it, but I couldn't think of it. So she did that, and she did an incredible job with that. But to bring that back to your original question, that's pretty much the only time she's ever really gotten on camera. Boss Fu's are really a little hesitant, a little tentative about her being on camera and doing a lot of stuff, and I get it. I understand, but yeah, so that's pretty much it. But she enjoyed that. We had a good time with it,
Well, I do occasionally do a stream with my daughter. We do like a little mommy and me. So when you said that, now I can't think of it. We're just like not even a pair, a threesome this today because we cannot remember our words. But
I know.
What is it? The cooking game we were just talking about.
Overcooked. Yeah.
Overcooked. So we'll play that. She wants. I don't know why she wants me to stream with that game. Probably because she knows that I will behave.
Yeah.
We'll stream that sometime. So
yeah,
I think that's
so good.
super cool.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I gotta ask the Funatics. So,
Mhm.
how did you come up with that name for the community, for all of us crazy fanatics, if you will? Because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
am a sub. You know, I'm there. I'm one of those guys that's in there and seeing what's going on. So
yeah.
how did you kind of think of that as the kind of the name and the community building?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I kind of, when I started streaming and the community started growing, I was talking to the community. I'm like, what are we going to call ourselves? And so people were throwing things out. And one person threw out the Germaniacs, and I'm like, I don't like having my name in there like that because it's just, I don't know, it just made me feel uncomfortable. I don't.
Mm,
So I want it to be about the community. I don't want it to be about me so much.
mm,
And so we were talking about different things and talking about how the community is fun and upbeat and everything. And somebody mentioned we're fanatical about our fun, and we're like funatics. How about funatics?
mm,
And so and it kind of goes along with foo and food,
mm.
and so it kind of just evolved,
Yeah.
and so that's kind of where that came from. Yeah.
So is Jermanfu like a specific, like a nickname of yours from like high school or whatever, or from school, or where did that come from?
No, so yeah,
I
so
know
the
what your
so
first name is, but like I
right,
didn't.
and I don't mind telling everybody, and I think most of my community knows now, but my first name is Jeremy, and so it actually came from that was a nickname, or not even a name. It was actually a character name that I used in EverQuest way back in the day. I was just trying to think of a name, and I got tired of trying to think of something up, and I was like, well, let's just come up with Jermanfu,
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of brainstormed it, and so it stuck with me, and I started using that for Twitch. Yeah.
Yeah, that it's kind of similar to like my name. Like everyone's like, "Where did you come up with Snaldo from?" And I'm like, "It was a randomly generated name from Star Wars Galaxies that no one ever has." And you want to know what? It kind of just sticks. And the best part about it is like when I go into channels, and I had this conversation with Respawn when he was on here, and he was like, no one can ever pronounce your name. And I'm like, yeah, but people will always remember me because they never can pronounce my name. So it's
There you
kind of has
go.
this weird double-edged sword of like they're like Snally, Snella, Snell, Snoo, Snallydo, Snackido. Like I'm like Snaldo, just call me Snally. It's fine. Like it kind of over time, people just remember your name from
Yeah. Well, it's good to
that.
know because I've been pronouncing it wrong all this time. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
So it's
Don't worry about it.
Sneldo.
Yeah, like when the first time I ever was on the Iron Lords podcast with the guys, they asked me, they're like, "How the heck do you pronounce your name?" So I said, "It's pronounced Snaldo. No one ever pronounces it right. Just call me Pete. That's my name. Just call me Pete. Because you want to know what? That's what everyone calls me anyway. So it
There
doesn't
you
matter.
go.
So it works out really, really well.
Love it.
Yes. El, do you got anything else you can think of?
No, I think
You
I think we
think?
got it.
Yeah.
Uh, um, so I'm gonna ask you the last question that we always ask all everyone that's always onto the show. If you could live in one video game fantasy world, what would it be? For instance, like Harry Potter or Marvel or like EverQuest, World of Warcraft.
Hmm.
Is there a type of world where you could end up, living for like, forever?
Yeah. And do you mean as in living in in the world itself, or being a character in that world? Because that's just two different things, right?
Well,
If I'm a
well,
little nobody in that world,
but that doesn't mean you're a nobody.
yeah.
Like you never know. You could be like Captain America in the
Right, right, right,
yeah.
right.
You don't know what it would be like.
Sure.
So like that taking those specifics out of it. Like for
Yeah.
like I would love to live in the world of Harry Potter, being able to use
Hmm.
magic, waving a wand. It'd be
Right.
awesome. I'm not saying I want to be a Muggle. I don't want to say.
Right.
I'm not saying I want to be Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I just want to be a guy that can use magic to be able to like if I spill something on the ground, I want to be able to use magic to clean it up because I won't actually want to clean it up.
Right. Right. Well, this is probably not going to be a lot of drama for this because my community probably all knows what I'm going to say, but it would definitely be Marvel.
Yeah.
Definitely be the Marvel world. Uh, you know, to be a Marvel hero in there somewhere would be pretty amazing. Um, Another world that would be pretty cool, but it would be pretty gloomy and dark. Is the Shadows of Mordor, Shadows of
Yeah.
War. That would be pretty cool to be Teledor,
Yeah.
be the ranger. But then that's a pretty gloomy world, so I'll stick with Marvel.
Did you ever complete the Shadows of Mordor?
I did. I beat Shadows of Mordor and I beat Shadows of War. Shadow of
Yeah.
War.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Those games are so good. It's
Yeah.
really like I love those aspects of those games, those stealthy type games, like the original
Hmm.
Assassin's Creed type games. And when they decided to take that and bring it into the world of Lord of the Rings, I was just
Hmm.
like, I'm in. This is it. I'm good. I want to do it because
So good.
yeah, it's. I love that type of environments and seeing the worlds. It's so good.
Yeah.
Did you play Lord of the Rings online?
I did not, and there are a couple of our community members who have been suggesting that to me, and I know it's a little long in the tooth now, and it's later in its life cycle, but I'm gonna have to check that out at some point.
So I played it when it first came out, and it was really good. And it's more of a pay to win type situation now, which
Hmm.
isn't fantastic. But if you got into the game early on, they had a like spend $50 and you have a lifetime subscription. So it's
Yeah,
like if you ever want to go back, you can play it. And you know what? It's still really really good, and it's still
yeah.
something that's kind of it holds its own. It feels more like the graphics of an EverQuest, which I know
Hmm.
you specifically wouldn't mind.
No,
So
not
if
at
you go
all.
back and you look at it, it's good, and you can get a whole bunch of people in to play with you because it's the beginning part of free is free,
Yeah, may
so
have to
it's
check
good.
that out. Yeah,
Definitely
cool.
do so. Definitely do so.
Hmm.
So, um, why don't you go ahead and tell us everybody where they can find you, times, and all that fun stuff.
Sure. Um, so my Twitch channel is twitch.tv/Jermanfu. That's Jermanfu. And I'm usually online streaming Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern to 11 p.m. Eastern. And then once a month, we do our community subathon, which is usually on Saturday. It's usually the first Saturday of the month, although sometimes like this month, we have to push it back. So, but yeah, that's my normal stream time. I'm on Twitter at Jermanfu Gaming, uh, and on Discord. Yeah, those are my social media areas.
That's where we can find you.
That's it.
Elle, how about yourself?
Well, I've kept the same schedule for a few weeks. I'm on Mixer Tuesday through Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, you can find me there on Twitter. It's lboogie0208. Pretty much on Twitter all the time. So
Fantastic. And just giving a couple of quick little shout outs to the rest of the panel members.
mhm.
MJ is a boss, as you guys know. He is living the college life. He is MJ is a boss on Twitter, and he is on Twitch on the same name. Go ahead and check him out. I know that he's trying to get a schedule together, but I think his fraternity life is now ramping up again, so he will be back in the saddle for that soon. Um,
If I may, real quick, I'm
sure.
sorry. L, what's your Mixer username on there so we
it's
can find you?
it's lboogie0208.
Okay, so it's the same as
Yeah,
Twitter. Okay,
it's everywhere. Mixer,
okay,
Twitter. I even have a
great.
YouTube, but I don't post there.
Yeah, okay, okay.
And then we have Old School Style, who's our other member, who must have gotten stuck out for a little bit longer than expected. He is on Twitter, Mixer, Twitch, and also he has a channel called Old School Tech Talk, where you guys can go there and get some really amazing information about new technology that's coming out.
Hmm.
He really tries on his production value, so you guys really should go check him out. Um, I would like to also say thank you to the Jermanfu for coming. You're fantastic. I greatly appreciate you coming. It's
Thank
great.
you. It's been great to be here.
Great.
I appreciate.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I am Snaldo, SnalYdo. I am on Twitch, You can also look me under snaldo.tv. It'll bring you right to my Twitch page, make it real easy for you. So I am on Twitter. I am on Discord all the time. You guys know where to find me. I'm there. I want to thank the guys from lordsofgaming.net. That is our website. They do some amazing, amazing work. We just brought on another amazing editor who is going to, is going to do some amazing things on that website. So I really want you guys to go take a look at that. Iron Lords podcast is, our I guess brother sister company, if you will, quote unquote. Yeah, they are on Sundays at 11 o'clock. They are booming. They are amazing. I want you guys to go check them out. They're fantastic. We are the Roundtable with the Stream Team. We are here usually every Monday. Next week is Veterans Day. We are taking the week off. Yes, we are. The week after that, we are not on Mondays. We're going to be on Tuesdays. We're bringing Boomstick XL here. He is a fantastic guy. He could not make Mondays, so we're going to have to kind of tweak our schedule around for him, and we wanted to make sure he was here. He's done so much stuff for us, so we want to make sure we can show a little courtesy to him to make sure he is here. On the Wednesday morning, you will wake up, and we are going to be on all of the podcast platforms. We are on Google Podcasts. We are on iTunes. We are on, if you name it, we got it.
Spotify.
We are on there. When I put the link out on Twitter, it is for our Anchor page, which allows you to go anywhere in all of our podcasts, different platforms. I think we're even in whatever the Tesla car thing is. So I mean, we're all over. And we are on Twitter is Tablestream. Yes. I had to write a note because it is ridiculous and I can never remember it. So if you want to go there, you'll see when we go live, our guests, our notations, all that fun stuff is there. If you guys have any questions for any of our guests, please email us at roundtablestreamteam@gmail.com. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it once again. Jermanfu, you are amazing. I'm happy that you were able to come and hang out for a little bit.
Thank you. It's my honor.
No, it is ours for you coming and joining us. I greatly appreciate it. And remember, everybody, to dream big and keep on playing. Thank you again. Bye, everybody.